Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Hello, what is going on? How y'all doing tonight? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and I'm going to be very quick probably with this SmackDown review. It was a good show. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed this past week's episode of SmackDown. But it's Monday night. Raw started probably about 15 minutes ago at the time of this recording. And I have a big Christmas party with family this coming Saturday. So I got a lot of work to do, but I squeezed in this SmackDown review, as I'm also still editing more of the shorts of the 25 Days of Christmas, 25 Days of Promos with the Club of 1993. Hope you guys are enjoying that so far, because I am. And I also got a nice little rub with a like from Mr. Kurt Angle today from number 23's promo that was revealed yesterday. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. He did like my Instagram post. But of course, I do have to update the information still for the other one. And again, I'm working on more of them now. That way I get ahead of them, for sure. But this is the SmackDown review from the December 1st, 2023 edition of SmackDown. It took place this past Friday, December 1st, again, at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. I've been there a few times. Very nice venue. A very good Fallout show from Survivor Series. I like that we kind of got something we really didn't have for a while. A contract negotiation for a certain superstar, which now makes sense as to how he will get to Roman Reigns. Could it be just a one-person feud? Or could it be involved in a multi-man feud? May briefly talk about that when I get to the ending. We have that, some storytelling progression in this stuff with Damage Control and Bayley. Again, I am getting more and more interested in Damage Control in the storyline. It's funny because really, they've been damaged goods for the most time with their run. But with new additions of Kairi, Sane, and Asuka, and the obvious future turn of them turning on Bayley, I'm very invested in this, for sure. And a couple of other things we had happen as well. But I thought, again, it was a good show. Oh, yeah, and also, we have a tournament set up to who is going to eventually challenge Logan Paul for the United States Championship. Probably not until Rumble, though. I think it's pretty obvious, though, who is going to win based off the promos they had this week. Which, it will be a great match when it happens. Which, again, probably at the Royal Rumble. But yeah, set up some pretty good stuff. And I'm looking forward to seeing what comes forward. So, again, great show. Like I said, we're going to go through pretty quick because I don't have too much time really right in my hands right now. We opened up with the women. Bianca Belair came out to talk about their team's win over Damage Control at War Games. But even though they handled Damage Control War Games, she ain't done with Damage Control. She wants her title back. Out comes Damage Control, and Dakota tells her, Io says she's in the way, and she says she's way over her head, and if you want another shot, you'll have to go through all of Damage Control. Bianca's like, cool, who's first? Out comes Charlotte and Shotzi. Then, of course, Charlotte's like, somebody else wants the title too, but it seems like they've backed off for now. I don't know. Basically, and then Shotzi, of course, basically says something to show her craziness. And then it was an all-out brawl. It just set up for a match with Bianca Belair and Kairi Sane later tonight, which we'll get to that in a second. But interesting enough, though, Bayley was not out for his opening segment. Backstage, Damage Control was like, where were you? Bayley's like, nobody told me that you guys were going to ringside. And thinks it would have been better, but Dakota tells her that Kairi's going to be in action against Bianca Belair later on in the show. Then we had Bobby Lashley versus Butch. Pete Dunne. A good match. They are starting this storyline where it seems there is some dissension in the Brawling Brutes. We haven't seen Sheamus in a while, but there seems to be, a feeling of breaking up between Ridge Holland and Butch. I kind of hope this is leading to them bringing back the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne, which would be awesome, of course. He definitely needs to be that, and not Butch, not a chump named Butch. But this match with Bobby Lashley showed that he's basically on his way back. There was a promo where basically, Pete Dunne had stood to Bobby Lashley, and basically he's like, "Come talk to me whenever you're better, kid," or something like that. But Butch did, put up a nice fight against Bobby Lashley. Like I said, this could be setting up for him to revert back to Pete Dunne, because it was supposed to happen last year when Triple H took over, until the Brawling Brutes kind of got a little more over with the feud with Imperium, and then they decided to, go forward with it for a little bit longer. Which, hey, I'm not gonna complain. They're all three of them. I enjoyed them all, but you gotta get Pete Dunne back. I'm tired of Butch. He's Pete Dunne. But anyways, Bobby Lashley wins with the spear. Nick Aldis is backstage with Paul Heyman having a chat. Of course, Heyman's like, "Why'd you invite Randy Orton to SmackDown?" And Aldis says that, well, Randy's actually a free agent, and he intends to sign him. And he's gonna convince him to sign by offering up. Basically, he said he's gonna give him the sign. He's gonna offer him his way to the Bloodline, and he even would offer up the entire Bloodline to sign Randy Orton. And he says, "What are you gonna do about it?" Heyman, of course, does not like that answer and leaves. Pete Dunne, of course, was interviewed afterwards his match backstage. He doesn't know why Ridge walked down him. He don't care, but he's got to focus on himself, and he will fight anyone. Which brings up Pretty Deadly, and yes, boys! I still don't care for them. How many more times is he going to fight the Brawl? They're going to fight the Brawling Brutes! I don't care. And then Pretty Deadly, though, beat him down, throw him hard into a road case. Sucks for you, Butch. Santos Escobar had a video package, and he was interviewed backstage saying he's just finishing what Rey Mysterio started, and then Joaquin, Wilde, and Cruz del Toro are sticking by him, but he'll put Wilde on the shelf right now. And there was a quick match with Santos Escobar and Joaquin Wilde, which I thought was solid. Again, Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro, I still thought they still felt like jobbers in NXT. But again, the few times they've had a chance to actually wrestle, they look pretty impressive. Joaquin looked good too. Actually, by the way, fun fact, Joaquin Wilde, well, Michael Pearce, actually went to the same high school as my wife. He was my wife has an older brother. He I think he was a grade or two ahead of him. But yeah, went to the same high school. Interesting fun fact. But yeah, Santos though gets the win with a Phantom Driver. But good showing there. Afterwards, though, Santos kept beating down on Wilde until Dragon Lee made the save and fight him off. It looks like, again, that we're going to be probably getting another match between Dragon Lee and Santos Escobar. It's definitely got to be another match. I still believe that they held back a little bit at Survivor Series. It was solid, but I don't think they actually gave it their best. I think, that there's more to come, so they didn't want to set the bar too high, which is totally okay. But we'll get another match with them eventually, I would say. We have Adam Pearce then rolling up, and you're like, are you really going to try to sign away Randy Orton from me? A Monday Night Raw legend? And Alice is like, yeah, I am. So we'll get to that contract signed later in the night. Logan Paul, the United States champion, makes his first appearance since he won the title at Crown Jewel. And since he posted weird photos with him in that title. Gag, but again, I still don't like the fact that SmackDown has 2 part-time champions, but it's just till WrestleMania, at least for the U.S. title. Still hoping to God Roman Reigns drops that Universal title by Mania. Still hoping that as well, but that I'm not so confident anymore. But anyways, Logan Paul comes out, and he calls out his friends who backstabbed him and all of his haters, and blah, 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 blah. And then basically he's like, Rose were upset about my rise, and what I'd done with the title, whatever. But he did mention that he spoke with Nick Aldis, and they're setting up a tournament featuring 8 superstars, and the winner of the tournament gets a shot at him for the U.S. title, which again is probably going to lead to the Royal Rumble. Those stars are Santos Escobar, Dragon Lee, Karrion Kross, Bobby Lashley, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, Kevin Owens, and a mystery NXT superstar. I don't think they're having that mystery NXT star next week, because I think they advertised, actually, they did advertise Santos and Dragon, I believe so, and Bobby Lashley and Karrion Kross. Strange one there, but whatever. But yeah, people are saying, honestly, it's probably either Braun Breaker or Carmelo Hayes. Although people say that if that's the case, then because Kevin Owens is obviously the favorite to win this. Because he even had a promo after this where Kevin Owens comes out. He says Logan, he saw Logan back when he was on Vine. Remember that stupid app? And already knew he was an unbearable jackass. And then Grayson Waller and Austin Theory come out, talk some trash. Kevin Owens has a match with Grayson Waller. Don't really care about Grayson Waller and his I'm holding a flight swatter for no reason in my hand right now. But Kevin Owens wins, and then they have to stare down. It's very obvious Kevin Owens is going to win this tournament. Which, if that's the case, I guess Carmelo Hayes is going to be the one. I feel like, I don't know. It's going to be either Carmelo Hayes or Braun Breaker being that mystery NXT opponent, in my opinion. I don't know. I just feel like that if it was Braun, he should win it. But if it's Carmelo, he can take a loss. But one of those two. Could be somebody different. Who knows? Oh, don't let it be like either Von Wagner or Zion Quinn, who are free agents, yet they're still been on NXT since. I don't know. Unless it's that Odyssey Jones. Because I heard rumors. Even though Odyssey Jones was drafted to Raw, there's rumors that they may put him on SmackDown instead. So maybe him. I don't know. We'll find out that soon, though. So we got that. We get a recap of CM Punk's Monday Night Raw promo and his recent return and how many views it's gotten online and whatnot. And he is actually going to be appearing on SmackDown this coming Friday. So I guess CM Punk is not fully committed to any brand yet. But of course, we'll probably find out over time where he's going to stay. Before we get to the main event match, first we have Bianca Belair coming out with Shotzi and Charlotte. Then Damage Control was backstage, and then Bayley was noticeably in the distance, but then Io tells Bayley to stay back. Well, the match happens with Bianca and Kairi, and during the match, everybody gets ejected. But then towards the end of the match, Bayley came out and tried to help. Unfortunately, though, it backfired, and Bianca won with the KOD. So again, it's a ticking time bomb. It's only a matter of time until Damage Control fully turn on Bayley. The only thing is, though, is I hope that it's not going to be like this continuously, where she costs them all their matches. Because remember, at War Games, Bayley there was towards the end of the match before she took the pin, Bayley saved each and every one of her teammates from getting pinned. And then she took the pin. I don't want that to be the case where, she's constantly costing. Because, at this point, it's like, we kind of get the point. it's so obvious that Bayley is going to be like the weak link, and she's going to eventually be getting the boot. And they're trying to get rid of her entirely from Damage Control. Where does Dakota Kai still stand with this? I don't know. But I feel like they shouldn't wait too much longer for this turn to happen. But don't keep having Bayley be the cause of why they're losing all their matches. Because it's obvious they're going to eventually get back to Bianca and Io, which I've seen that match already too many times. And then the show ended with this closing segment with Randy Orton basically making his decision. Where will he sign? With Raw or SmackDown? Again, I have never really experienced like a promo of this live. Like, watching this promo, I mean, it was not as good, of course, but watching this kind of made me think of, it made me think of Triple H, Batista, like the segment where Batista was going to decide where he's going to go to the Raw or SmackDown. Of course, it didn't leave with Randy Orton, turning on someone at the end. But basically, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce came out to the ring. Randy Orton comes out and takes his shirt off all fired up. And the GMs talk things over. Adam Pearce promises him the winner of the world title match on Raw between Seth Rollins and Jey Uso. But Nick Aldis offers him the Bloodline, the men he took out, if he signs to SmackDown. And when that happened, I'm like, that's a no-brainer. That is a no-brainer right there. Paul Heyman came out saying there will be no RKOs this evening, and there will be no decisions made by Randy Orton, because the Bloodline is going to make the decision for him. Which brings out Jimmy and Soul, who try to attack try to attack Orton, but LA Knight came out to make the save, and basically he fights off Solo, and they brawl off the stage to the back, and then Orton basically just eats up Jimmy Uso, as everyone does, hitting him with the DDT and then the RKO, and then he picks up the contracts, and I'm like, Randy, it's so obvious at this point. And he tossed the Raw contract aside, and he signed with SmackDown. And he tells Paul Heyman, go tell Roman, Daddy's back. And then, of course, Nick Aldis gets in the ring and puts his arm up, and then for heck of it, Orton just RKOs him out of nowhere. And that's SmackDown. Like I said, some very small but effective stuff. Like I said, the stuff with Randy Orton, even though it was so obvious that once they offered Orton the Bloodline, it was so obvious he was going to go to SmackDown. And he's probably, I would say, is either going to be a one-on-one. I think eventually, though, because they have four, I'm thinking either a fatal four-way with Roman, Randy, AJ, and LA Knight, or that could be a tease to an Elimination Chamber match. Because I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Roman Reigns, since he's won the title, has defended the match inside the chamber. Because 2021, when the full year he had it, Bryan had to win the chamber match to face Roman later on in the night. 2022, last year he fought Sami Zayn one-on-one, and the men's chamber match was for the US title, which is also an awesome match. I think it's time we finally have Roman defend the title in the chamber. I think that's where they should go with it. Like these teases, like these other matches that they're teasing, like the rematch with LA Knight. Obviously, AJ Styles has unfinished business with the Bloodline since they wrote him off TV. And Randy wants Roman. Like do Roman and Randy at the Rumble. And then at least have those four, and of course 2 others, not sure who yet. Probably Kevin Owens will be one of them, and maybe Santos, maybe for experience? Santos Escobar? Maybe, why not? Have them all get into the chamber. Give Roman a chamber match, I think. Because he has not had one in the 3 years he's been champion. So, but that's my thoughts on SmackDown. Again, kind of brief, still about 20 minutes. I gave it a B. Again, some very good stuff. Again, with Orton and the contract sign, I like that. I like the stuff that's going on with Damage Control. Pete Dunne seemingly on his way back. I'm interested to see, what goes on with this U.S. title tournament. And, of course, where it goes with who this NXT surprise star is. And go from there. So, guys, hope you guys continue to also enjoy the 25 Days of Christmas and 25 Days of Promos videos, as those will continue to be uploaded until Christmas Day. And hopefully more content on the channel. But again, it's just been busy. Holiday season. So hopefully soon, though, I'll be getting back to more content that I haven't touched for a while. But guys, be sure you guys leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Again, I gave SmackDown a B. What grade would you give it? Slap a like on the video. Subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at TheClubWithTheMan93. And you may also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at TheClubWithTheMan1993. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you guys all later. And do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion. That is a fact of life. Yeah!